first reality check for Blackburn Rovers, of course, as they got spanked on Wednesday night up against Reading. Down the Majeski, 3-0 it was, but of course we still remain top of the table. Can we bounce back this coming weekend against Sheffield United? We'll talk about that and more next. Right, folks, back once again with a nice preview looking back, of course, at Rovers shambles against Reading, of course. But before that, big shout out to my VIPs. It is Blue Rose Capital for supporting this portion of the channel, the review, of course, as we digest the shit show that was Reading against Rovers, of course. And also a big shout out to your one-stop shop for your Blackburn Rovers content, championship content, right here at Blackburn Rovers Seas. But of course, we're going to digest the deepest, darkest matters of the game, starting right here, right now. 3-0 demolition job by Reading. Look at this. It actually doesn't really paint a good picture here, to be honest with you. It says 65% possession for Rovers. It didn't feel like it. It did not feel like it whatsoever. And of course, what really is the figure that we need to stands out in a humongous obviousness is the 3-0 scoreline. Of course, Reading took an early lead on the 14th minute. Tom McIntyre with a good header. Of course, good set piece. Rovers were like, I don't know, it was like giants against Oompa Loompas it was in defending the set pieces all night long. Rovers looked second best, not only at that, but second best throughout the game. It's like we didn't want to win this. It's like we were playing with 6 men. It felt so bad, considering how bad Reading have been this season. It's given me a bit of a grumbling, an upset stomach as we look forward to what's going to be an even difficult weekend when we take on Sheffield United on the road. And Sheffield United already have stuffed a couple of fingers up our arses already with signing Kadra and signing the Bosnian fella who actually scored tonight. So Sheffield United are looking to do a three-peat on us, and it's barely still bloody flipping August. I'm very nervous. I am very nervous, of course. 8 shots for us tonight, 4 of them off target, 4 of them on target, 2 of them, well, 1 of them was saved, but Rovers were just garbage. I can't even, is that garbage? We can't even tell you how much possession Reading had, but it's probably about 35%. To be honest with you, I don't even believe that stat. 12 shots for Reading, they were all over us. Tom McIntyre with the first goal, might I add. The second goal came in early, midway through the second half. Junior Hoyle with a ripper, an absolute ripper, playing at full-back these days, wing-back, whatever you want to call him. Absolutely phenomenal stuff today, and each and every one of the players, man for man, outplayed us. The only guy I can give some credit to is Daniel Ayala, who was like, he's not only doing his job today, he was doing 4 other people's jobs. He was just a man. Well, I just felt sorry for him. I felt sorry for him because everybody else was garbage. So we'll have a look at what SofaScore have given the match ratings in a minute. But I'm telling you right now, Ayala should be Rovers' man of the match. And of course, Lucas João, another ex-Rover, came off the bench. He barely did anything, but of course he's there. Puts the ball back in the back bins there, and yeah, they win it comfortably, 3-0. We were never even in this. We had a penalty shout, which would have, if it went our way, maybe changed the outcome of the game, perhaps. But really, I'm clutching at straws. And to be honest with you, Reading didn't even get out of second gear. They were average. They were average today, but average smashed us 3-0. It's quite an embarrassing one to take, that one. A big old bitter pill to swallow as well for Rovers. But anyway, take a look at, of course, some other stats and figures then, shall we, including the starting lineups. Is of course Joe Lumley, clean sheet today. He got walloped by Rotherham 4-0. And of course, we still got to play Rotherham, we still got to play all these boys. McIntyre at the back there, the young 23-year-old centre-back, decent. Tom Holmes as well, Andy Yardam opting as a centre-back. 3 experience-ish centre-backs there. We are, of course, playing with a threadbare squad, but also Reading are playing with a bit of a threadbare squad as well. But they also had Loom in the midfield there. Of course, Junior Hoyle at 32 now. Nesta Guinness Walker up there. Tyrese Fornar. Again, a couple of players I don't know too much about. Jeff Hendrick, Tom Ince, and Shane Long, the veteran, up top. As for the bench, of course, John Clark got some minutes. Kevin Albareba and Lucas João came on. 28 years of age, valued at £4 million. Get involved, get involved. Let's take a look at, of course, Rovers then. Kaminsky between the sticks. We had Ayala in there. Phillips, of course, Pickering, Britton, the fullbacks for us. Travis, Buckley, Dolan, Diaz, Smodic, and Vale. And Vale was shit. As much hype as I was trying to give the guy, I couldn't defend that performance. I couldn't really defend Smodic's performance either. I thought they were both garbage. And in fact, a lot of them were pretty garbage. Buckley was ineffective. Travis was pretty sloppy. Who else was there? in. But a lot of people just weren't here. They weren't switched on. They weren't up for it today. They were just, it may be just tiredness. The games are coming thick and fast. It's a rude awakening. I've been harping on about that all day since I watched it. It's a rude awakening to JDT. It's a rude awakening to this 11 that started and the guys from the bench who couldn't change this game as it slipped away. And of course, speaking of the bench, 5 substitutes were used. Teo Dunn, Tyler Morton, Bradley Dack, Hedges and Gallagher. Some strong names coming off the bench, but ultimately we were not good enough. Take a look at the shot grid then. Show Rovers are represented by the blue. Of course, Reading represented by the orange. Rovers had shots from Diaz, 3 of them. Eden 1, Hedges 1, Dolan, Travis and Phillips. We had a really good chance, in fact. But Vale leading the charge, leading the line. No shots. Smodic, nothing. You got them. Dolan, did have a shot, so give him some play. But you know, that's what you're there for. If you can't get any fucking shots off, there's no point playing you. You're there to be in the attacking part of the team here. If you're not putting any effort or getting any efforts off, then goodness gracious me, forget about it. But of course, the substitutions didn't really do much to change the fact that Gallagher also drew a blank. Hedges did look lively when he came on, so I would imagine he is back for Sheffield United. As for Reading, shots, of course, all over the place, absolutely all over the place. I was quite surprised that the people who didn't have a shot. Junior Hoylett must have had about 10 of them. Where are you, Hoylett? 2 for you, 2 for you. Holmes, of course, couple at the back there. We had 761 touches, believe it or not. I really cannot fathom that. 499 for Reading, 582 passes for us, 306 for them. Does it have the possession on here? Can we see the possession? Overall, I can't see it on this graphic, but it did not feel like that. It felt like we barely had the ball, especially the first half. Reading were all over us. We couldn't really get anything moving. So that's a little concerning. If we are bossing it and having all the ball and all the possession, we're not really doing anything about it. We're not driving forward. We seem to be doing a lot of backwards passing or Jason Lowe style passing, which is not what we don't want to revert back to those days. But it's definitely okay. We've had our little honeymoon in of course the spotlight, 3 games, and yes, we still remain top of the table. But this is just a sample, just a small nugget of what could happen on Saturday when a decent, no disrespect to Reading, a absolute title contender, playoff contender, Premier League bound team will be hosting us. They will be the host, we will be the visitors, Sheffield United, and that's gas. I'm shitting myself already that we're going to be taking on a team that could rip us apart, and we could be looking at a 5-0 or something like that. If we were to play like we did today against Sheffield United, we would get ripped apart. Absolutely tune a new one. Take a look at, of course, as you can see, absolute stinkage by SofaScore. 7.5 for Ayala. Good. At least there is some method to the madness. He was doing 8 people's work tonight. Fair play to Ayala. And you know what? If I was him, and I'd be like, fuck you, I'm not playing Saturday. I'd work my ass off. I was bloody doing Phillips's job. He's too fucking confused about the contract. Pickering was an absolute shit show. Britain wasn't really that great, to be honest with you. They need bloody competition. And again, I know that, you know, Britain's right now is just, from this, going to dust himself down. He'll go again. He'll know, Ryan Nyambi. Oh, no, he's not here. It's just fucking me. I'm just gonna play shit and have no consequences. There's nobody breathing down my fucking neck to get in that spot. The same can be said for Lewis Travis, who had a shitter as well today. I thought 6.8 according to that. He needs to know that Garrett or Gannett or whatever the heck his name is, somebody is knocking on the door. You might wear the captain's armband, but you still have to put in a performance. And today, you didn't. You did shite. Jack Vale, ghastly. Diaz was pretty wank as well. Smodic, I think you were shit. In fact, all that power 4 up there, you just put a Men in Black my ass. Forget it. I just forget it because they were dreadful. Speaking of Reading, though, they did good. Hoylett, of course, was a blast in the past. And again, all the players really stood up and bounced back. And that's what we need to do. We need to bounce back. And if we can get anything, absolutely anything out of Sheffield United, I would take it all day long. Let's take a look at the heat maps then, shall we? This is, of course, Reading. All the ball for Rovers, though, to be honest with you. We had all the ball, but no, this place is a desert. Nothing's going on in there. Look at Reading, though, spreading the ball around nicely and, again, making possession count. We'll take a look at all that in a minute, of course. What about has gone on in the with Jordan Thomason? What's his first post-match thoughts on the back of a defeat, whether it's Cup, whether it's League? Let's have a little listen at what he had to say after the match against the Shambles. That was Reading.
No, it was of course a disappointing night. The players have been excellent so far, and today, of course, it was not a good performance. We also need to give credit to Reading, but we didn't play with our normal intensity. We didn't do the right choices on the ball and in the duels. So in that way, it was positive, not positive at all. When we lose games, I hate losing. Players hate losing. Our fans hate losing, and that's all about football, winning and losing. So in the end of the day, it's a disappointing night. I feel really sorry for all the Rovers supporters, I think more than 1,000, who took the journey, who kept on supporting the team, have travelled so far, and the performance was not good. So we need a reaction on Saturday, of course. But I said when we won the 3 first game in the league as well, that there'll be bump, but this way we will win games, we will lose games, we will draw games, and we have made a lot of good steps forward. And today was a step backwards.
Reading had a big defeat at the weekend, beaten 4-0. Did that make them even more of a dangerous opponent tonight? Maybe they're more angry coming into the game. Were you aware that could be they have a reaction that way?
Of course, I think we need to get all the credit to Reading. I think they played a good game, and we were disappointed today in that way. So it was a great reaction for Reading, and now we need to stick together and get a reaction on Saturday as well.
Yeah, big moment in the game where there was a penalty appeal when Phillips went over. Was there a case for a penalty there, do you feel?
I couldn't see it. Those moments can change games, but I didn't see it, so I can't say if it was a penalty or not. But you lose games, you win games. There's always about a couple of moments where you do the right things or not.
There's been some championship managers in the last week. You've called for VAR to be introduced in the championship. How do you feel about that? Would you like to see VAR introduced?
I think it's always a question, a money issue, isn't it? End of the day, I think the referees are having a tough job. It's not easy to be a referee, so I will not complain about the referees, not at all. I know it's difficult.
Do you learn anything different from a performance and a defeat like this than you do from a win? Is there things you can learn from?
I think you can learn from winning games and losing games, and so far we had made some great steps the first couple of months, and today was not great, and we need to deal with that and we need to do it better. But is what I said from the beginning. We had an excellent start. We will win and lose games, and today was not a good performance. So we have made plenty of steps forward, and today was a step backwards in our journey.
Sheffield United on Saturday. Games coming thick and fast. How difficult is it with the amount of injuries you've got at the moment? The squad is obviously quite stretched. How tricky is that?
Yeah, of course. I said that there's a couple of players went away. If you compare with last season, we only have 3 new players in. So yeah, it's true. I would like to get some bodies in, and the club is working hard on that. And hopefully we'll get those bodies in soon.
Yeah, and Greg obviously will be trying to get those in for you. In terms of being successful in this division, how important is not just the first team, but squad depth?
Extremely important, of course, because as you're correct in saying, that there's a lot of games, and the league is strong, competitive in that way, so you need quality, of course, and it's not only first 11.
Yeah, and you've been away with the team. You know the kind of character that they've got. Do you expect a reaction from them at the weekend?
But they're great boys. And they've done really well in the beginning. But today, playing against a good Reading side, we made all the wrong choices today. And that's also football, and we should not be happy with it. I hate losing, and especially in that way. And we need to look into that.
Yeah, and obviously it's Greg's area of where he's looking after things. Do you expect there might be fresh faces in before the weekend? Is it too early to know about that?
I think Greg is the right person to ask about that. I have focus on the game at the moment, so and tomorrow we have a chat about the other things.
All right, then let's take a look at what's been said on social media then, shall we? Lisa and Jamie 1 said, poor result, still top though, just to prove what an extremely unpredictable league this is. On to Saturday, Jordan Kingsley says, just an utterly pathetic performance. Pickering remains a liability. Sell Diaz ASAP, replace him and buy a new left back. Oh, and the players should refund the fans for making an 8-hour round trip for that performance. Adam Satsuki said, reality check, second best in every aspect. A game too far for some. They look tired. No intensity, maybe letting them off easy after the performance, but we needed a busy end to the window, no matter what the result tonight. Penn was a key moment. The ref bottled it, but we deserved nothing. correct. Lewis Hartley said, of course, one of the mafiosos, one of the worst games I've seen in a while for the lads. Fullbacks both shocking, would drop Pickering on their weekend. And Buckley, Dolan, Vale as well. Dunn, Morton, Hedges, Gallagher in. Need to sign a striker and another 2 defenders. Big kick up the arse needed. Yes, indeed. Eric H. Berg. It took 81 minutes before Buckley picked up the ball and played forward pass from midfield. Not sure how Ayala managed to complete the game with all the cleaning up after everyone else. Trav Kaminski, centre-backs did well. Dak and Adern starters at the weekend for me. Now move on. Ben the Boss Jackson, well positive. Still top of the league. Everything else, well, was just a big wake-up call. Diaz was obviously distracted. Was no squad togetherness tonight. Be interested to see JDT get angry and let's rip off the players. Hunter Barnes says, poor performance from a tired, depleted squad. Felt like the negative Mowbray attitude crept back in when we went one down. But this will take time. Questions will be asked by the players and by the club, I'm sure, as a game like this highlights the need for reinforcement. Robson Green, not that one, but this one, said so many off it tonight. Very small squad. The lads need help. Greg not done enough in my eyes. Can't believe how short we are. Lucky only got a couple injuries, to be honest. Pickering can't be going on the lash before a game again. Never seen him so bad. Table looks all right. Yes, it does. Rovers said, the worst performance I have ever seen Rovers give for a very long time. Worse than the Mowbray Death Spiral game. Hopefully we learn from this and move on. But at least Chris Martin, of course, managed to catch up with Gareth Ainsworth, the next Rovers manager, of course. That's, of course, the state of play on the Twitter sphere. What else has gone on out and about in the Championship? Then shall we take a little look at it? Then shall we? Here you go. Of course, Norwich with a big 2-1 win over Huddersfield. Coventry, of course, Wigan postponed. Birmingham with a 1-1 draw against Watford. Bristol City with a 2-0 win over Luton. Preston Gordon my manager draw against Rotherham. Swansea 2, Millwall 2 in a bit of a collapse there. Burnley 1, Hull City 1. Happy about that. QPR with a 1-0 loss to Blackpool at home. Stoke 2, Middlesbrough 2. A shocking collapse as well there. Goodness gracious me. Sheffield United with a big 2-1 over Sunderland, and West Brom against Cardiff was a 0-0 snore fest, and Reading with a big 3-0 win over Rovers. Probably the result of the midweek action, of course. And this is what the table looks like. Of course, we are still top of the table by 1 point, and we can actually still go and open up a gap on the chasing pack if we are to beat a 4th place Sheffield United, who do look pretty decent. Our first L in the common there, which is a bit of a shit show. Reading up to 8th now with Paul Ince at the helm. Make sure you just digest that for a second or two. What's going on at you this weekend? Friday night it is Norwich against Millwall. We have Stoke against Sunderland, QPR against Rotherham, Burnley against Blackpool, Burnley against Blackpool, Birmingham against Wigan, Coventry against Huddersfield. That has also been postponed already. Preston against Watford. We have Reading against Middlesbrough, Swansea against Luton, West Brom against Hull, and Bristol City against Cardiff. And that's games on Sunday. But the game of the day will be Sheffield United, will be Rovers, and it will be at Bramall Lane. But of course, we will have the watch along right here, right now. Well, there you have it, folks. There you have it. Big shout out once again to Blue Rose Capital for, of course, sponsoring this section of the channel here. Of course, make sure you check them out wherever they are in the world. Respect to Blue Rose Capital for their backing of the channel. But yes, that is it, my friends. A bit of a shit show. Of course, Rovers looking very, very shit today. It's been the first time under the JDT era that we have had our asses spanked royally as well. So not great indeed. But of course, hopefully we can bounce back and bounce back quick. We've got a busy old week. Of course, another 3 games over the next 10 games. Start with Sheffield United at Bramall Lane on Saturday, and Girls coverage will begin Thursday on this one. But until then, guys and girls, make sure you give it some love and smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, check out the links down below, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Patreon as well. But until then, guys and girls, I'm done.